Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. Bill, Irfan, Sherry, welcome. Happy Friday. I hope everyone has been enjoying all of the sessions at Amplify so far. It's been a busy day. Good morning, Sherry. We're just going to give it a minute or two as people are leaving other sessions to get into this session. Give it a few more seconds and we can get started. All right, Sarah, I think we can get started. Hi, everyone. My name is Rory with AutoLeap. I am the events marketing coordinator. I'm just here to introduce Sarah, who is our speaker for this session. She is the VP of Business Development and Client Services with Haas Consulting. She's going to give us an amazing session today on customer experience. I cannot wait to hear what Sarah has to say. And I'm just going to hand the floor right off to Sarah so we can get right into it. If you guys have any questions, put them in the chat box and we will answer them at the end of this session.
Awesome. Thank you, Rory. Thank you guys for coming on and joining us on a Friday morning to talk about driving an A+ customer experience, a back to basics review. So seems like a pretty popular topic lately. I've been asked to do a lot of customer experience classes, which is cool because I think past couple of years, we may have lost touch a little bit on getting back to the core of being really, really fantastic at customer service. So my name is Sara Fraser. I'm with Haas Performance Consulting. I've been in the industry for over 10 years now, worked at a shop as an office manager for 6 years, and then transitioned to work for Haas Performance Consulting. And so I do a lot. I get to do training like this. I also do a lot of hiring for automotive repair shops. I do social media. I do all sorts of things. So it's been an exciting past 4 years now working with the company. So I'm excited to be here with you guys today. And let's just jump into it. So sorry, I need to move my cameras because I can't see my slides. Okay, so customer service experience is the sum of all the interactions a customer has with a company, whether that's direct communication, face-to-face, over the phone, or through other customer experiences such as your website, online booking, and social media. So all of those things encompass what the customer service experience is. And something I think is very interesting about our industry, when I think about other services that I pay for or other customer experiences that I have, like if I'm going to the dentist or if I'm going to get my hair done, I'm kind of there through the whole experience. I'm part of it. I'm involved in it. I get to see the work that's happening, and I get to see at the dentist all the tools and all the technology and all the things that they're using because I'm right there the whole time. We don't really see that when you drop your car off for service, right? We're not looking over the shoulder of the technician. We're not in our car while somebody's working on it. So it's on us as an automotive repair shop to really help the customer understand that part of the experience and to be able to educate on what happens while their vehicle is in for service so that they understand and see the value and all the really awesome things that we do. I had a really interesting experience not too long ago that I thought did a great job of this. And we had brought our dog in for a surgery, for a knee surgery, and she ended up having to stay at the hospital for like 2 days. And they did such a thorough job of telling us every single thing they were going to do, every tool that they used, how they were doing it, when she was going to be in physical therapy, what she was going to go through, where she was going to be staying, like literally covered all the bases. So when we left, I knew exactly what was happening. I knew exactly what I was paying for, which made that very large vet bill a little bit more digestible, right? When you see all the things that are actually happening when you're not there seeing what's going on. The other customer experiences, such as your website, online booking, social media, that's kind of where it all starts, right? Is at your website. So let's talk about that a little bit. Your website should be clean and welcoming and inviting. It should be user friendly. It should be easy to find my way around on it, to find the information I'm looking for. Should be informative. It should let me know what kind of vehicles you work on, what kind of services you offer, so I can, determine if this is the right fit for me. This is huge. It should have real photos, not stock photos, but actual photos of your shop, photos of your waiting room, photos of your staff, so that when I know, if I've never been there before and I'm driving there for the first time, I already know what the building looks like before I get there. So I'm kind of aware of where I'm going, and I know what the waiting room is going to look like. And I know I talked to Susan on the phone and I saw her picture online, so I know who I'm looking for when I walk in the door, those kinds of things. So having real photos versus stock photos is huge. I think that's a really important piece on your website. Definitely needs to be mobile compatible, because most people who are finding you on their phones. They're not necessarily searching you out on a desktop anymore. So if you haven't looked at your website on a phone recently, I highly recommend taking a few minutes, or even having somebody do a website audit for you, like a friend or somebody who hasn't looked at your website before, to kind of get some fresh eyes on it and see what they think. And could you make that part of your customer service experience a little bit more welcoming and user friendly? And I think it's something that you should definitely look at every month, if not quarterly, to make sure that you're still up to date and the information is accurate. And maybe you've changed your hours, or maybe you've changed something, and making sure that new information is available. And personable. So make sure that you have your story available, the why it is, why you create, why you open the shop, why you do what you do. Have bios of your staff, and more than just their skills and their education, but things that they like to do outside of work, and kind of humanize your business a little bit and be personable and talk about stuff like that on your website. Then people have something to relate to you with. Like if you have, your service advisor bio and it says something like, oh, we like to go camping on the weekends. When I come in now, I might be like, oh, hey, where's the last place you went camping? Was it good? Did you like it? It just kind of opens up to have conversations and to be a little bit more personable. Have an option to book online. I will tell you, if I am looking to go somewhere and there's no option to book online, I'm not going to go. Like, it's just not going to happen. I have not picked up the phone to call to make an appointment for anything in probably years. I mean, my vet appointments are done online, my hair appointments are done online, doctor's appointments are done online. I just don't want to pick up the phone if I don't have to. I do teach a class on millennials specifically, and I get more into why that is, that a lot of us don't like to talk on the phone for various reasons. But having an option to book online, if it's not there, I'm moving on to the next auto repair website, to the next available shop. Also have links to your social platforms, because if I'm looking at your website and I'm like, oh, this might be a good place to go, something I'm going to do is I'm also going to look at your social media and see what your culture looks like, and kind of see if I can get a feel for the experience I'm going to have when I come to your shop through your social platforms. So that's something else that if you go and look on your social media and it's like, wow, we haven't posted in 2 months, or we're not being super consistent, that's something to really stay consistent on, and make sure that you're utilizing that to educate your customers, to show customers your culture, to share photos of your shop, all of those things, because that's something I'm going to look at before I ever make a decision to go do service or do business with somebody. So all of these are really great things to have on your website. Kind of cruising through this part a little quicker, because I know we've only got 45 minutes today, and I want to make sure we get you all the information we can. So the next thing after I look at your website that I'm going to go look at is going to be your reviews. And that's something I'm going to read before I ever make a decision if I'm going to go ahead and book an appointment. So my advice on reviews is respond to all of them. The good ones, the bad ones, all of them. Make sure you're responding to them. Make sure we're thanking our customers when we respond to those reviews, thanking them for taking the time out of their day to come on and leave, to say something nice about you, or for visiting your shop. Make it personal. Don't respond to every single review with the same cookie cutter response, because if I've never come to you and now I'm looking at your reviews and I just see the same response over and over and over again, I'm like, okay, they probably aren't actually looking at these or aren't actually reading them. So make it personable. If you know something about that person, respond to that review they left. If you know that they named their car, hey, it was so cool that you brought Rosie in today. We love working on her. And Sherry just said, even if they just give you a 5-star without a review, yeah, still comment and say, hey, thanks so much for bringing your vehicle in. It was great to see you again, or something like that. So make it as personal as you can. I would say respond to all of them, and definitely respond to the bad ones. Um, and my best piece of advice when you're responding to your like 1-star, 2-star review is don't respond to it as if you're responding to the customer who left it. There's a very good possibility that customer may never even come back and read your response, but who is reading it is all of your prospective customers who are checking you out before making that decision to come and do business with you. So definitely when you're sitting down to respond to that, write it as if you're writing it to that prospective customer. So you're not being super defensive, and you're kind of offering to help, offering for a resolution, maybe apologizing, taking ownership of the situation, whatever it may be. Because when I look up at a company and I look at their reviews, I'm not expecting that every company is going to have all 5 stars across the board. Like, it's just inevitable. We can't make everybody happy. So then what I'm going to do when I go to look at those lower star reviews is what I'm really looking for is, how did they handle that situation? Did they offer to help, or did they just blame it on the customer? Did they take ownership for it? Did they try to find a resolution? Sorry, I just saw your chat, which maybe I missed it. There's a question.
Yeah, Sherry had a question, or maybe she's just commenting, but even if they give you a 5-star without a review, should you be responding to those?
I think so. I think that, there's no harm in making sure you're responding to that and thanking that person, and you can still try to make it personable if you know who they are and you know what service was done. And that's a great way too, when you're responding to your reviews, to show your culture and to show that you really know your customers and you really appreciate them. So the US small business, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I just did something and I opened up the chat box and it took over my whole screen. There we go. The US Small Business Administration reports that 68% of customers leave because they're upset with the treatment that they've received. I'm sure we can all relate to this. Have you ever had a bad customer service experience? I know when I've taught this class in person, every single hand goes up. We've all got a story. We've all got something that stuck with us, when we just went in and had a beyond awful customer service experience. So what was the result after that experience? Did you continue to do business with them? Did you give them a second chance? Or did you just go and find an alternative because it was that bad? You were like, I'm never going to do business there again. Did we share that experience with our friends and family? We are very likely to share bad experiences, right? I bet if I asked anyone in here, you could tell me a story like that it was just an awful experience that you've had within the past couple of months, which is really unfortunate. And that's why I'm super excited you guys are here to learn about getting back in touch with the customer and really providing that awesome customer service experience. Did you leave a review? Right? If you have that really, really bad experience, are we more likely to then go on and leave that bad review? And what could they have done differently? And a lot of times I think the things that they could have done to fix the situation or to keep us as customers are very simple. But sometimes it's just a matter of they didn't even ask. They didn't even try. They didn't even try to fix the situation. Or maybe they didn't even know. Maybe they didn't even know how badly they failed. And so we find that when we are dealing with a situation, a customer who things are seeming to going wrong, or they're upset or being maybe slightly difficult, just asking, what can we do to help fix this? What could I do to make this better? Oftentimes, what they want is a lot less than maybe what we would have offered anyway. So that's just something to keep in mind. Think back on experiences you've had. What could they have done differently? And then when we're handling situations like this, what can I do differently to help this customer? So according to Gartner research, 89% of companies now expect to compete mostly on the basis of customer experience. That's huge. I mean, that's really we're not talking about price. We're completely talking about the customer experience. And the customer experience is whether it's on the phone, in person, their online experience, their after follow-up experience, all of that. So in order to take care of our customers, we really have to take care of our employees. If you have employees who are stressed, disgruntled, don't feel like they're being treated fairly, don't feel like they're being paid fairly, just in a bad mood, those aren't going to be the employees that are going to go above and beyond and create that amazing customer service experience. Happy employees are more productive, they're more engaged, they're less stressed. They feel like they're part of a community at work and they're in a healthy work environment and culture. So happy employees who feel like they're able to contribute to the business, who are able to share ideas and who are engaged and feel really good. Those are the employees that are going to go above and beyond to take care of the customer. Those are your people who are just people, right? And we can train somebody to be a phenomenal service advisor. Attitude is one of those things, like if you're a people person, you just have it and you know how to work with people and talk to people. And when you're in a position where you feel respected and you feel taken care of and you feel heard, you're going to be more likely to provide that phenomenal service experience to your guests. And if you're feeling super stressed out, it's going to be a lot harder to be above and beyond for somebody. If you're feeling underappreciated, it's going to be a lot harder to be that amazing customer service representative for somebody. So good versus great. We could give good customer service, but what customers are really looking for is the extra steps to be great. And it's really on us to kind of find out what those extra steps are. And for every customer, they might be a little bit different. So it's really listening to your guests, listening to the things they're saying, understanding them, getting to know them, and being able to figure out what those extra steps are. For somebody, it could be somebody who just doesn't have a lot of time and wants to get in and out and doesn't want to have a whole long conversation with you. So being able to pick up that vibe and being able to help them as quickly and efficiently as possible, that's going to be the extra steps to be a great experience for them. Or you might have somebody who really does want to chat, or who, if you remembered the name of their kid or you asked about their dog or those kinds of things, that's the extra step of like, wow, they really took the time to get to know me and I really appreciate that. I actually had an experience that I thought this was above and beyond taking the extra steps. And I don't even know how it happened, but I was dropping my vehicle off and we were chatting about something and I was talking about how I hate putting gas in my car. Like, I just hate doing it. I'm literally one of those people who would pay extra money to have somebody come out and put gas in my car for me. I just don't like doing it. And it came up in the conversation when I was dropping my car off, and the service advisor was like, we'll car up, don't worry about it. We'll put the receipt on, we'll charge you for it. You don't have to take it to the gas station. We've got you, don't worry about it. And I was like, are you serious? And I live in Wisconsin, so in the middle of winter, like, that's a pretty awesome thing for somebody to do. That was above and beyond. That was taking those extra steps. And now the customer after me might think, why would I need somebody to put gas in my car? Like, that doesn't, So it's just really picking up on cues from your guests and kind of learning what it is that you could do that would be those extra steps. I'm also a big fan of making it easy. That's going up above good and going to great. So, if somebody were to come and pick up my vehicle for me, take it to the shop, do the work on it, and then return it back to my driveway, I would pay extra money for that. That's making it so easy. That's way better than good. That's great. And I would tell everybody about it too. I would be like, you have to check out the shop. This is amazing. I didn't even have to go anywhere, all of those things. Sherry said, I make my employees feel important and part of the business because we all make the business and no one is more or less. And I absolutely love that. And that is what it is. It's being a great functioning team and being able to feel empowered and like you matter at work is really going to help you do your job better. So how do I get the information I need to give the customer the information they need to make good decisions? Because a lot of what we do is helping educate the customer and helping them make really good decisions about their vehicle so that when they leave, they don't feel like they got talked into something they don't need, or they're paying for something that they don't need, and that they really understand why they're doing it and that they feel good about the decisions that they're making. And one way we do that is that we ask powerful questions. So, what is a powerful question? It's a question that has not already been asked. It could be a question that makes them consider new information before they answer, or a question that makes you look better or smarter than your competitors. So I'll give you a couple examples of these powerful questions because they really do help in getting that information we need so we can give them the information they need. So a great one is just, why do you think you need brakes, tires, whatever the situation may be? Because maybe nobody's ever asked them that before. If they're calling around and trying to get prices or trying to get information, they might have never been asked, why do you think you need that? That's going to get you a story. That's going to get you some information that can be really helpful to helping them. Question that makes them consider new information. Are things like the quality of parts and the warranty important to you? And then this question is one that can make you look maybe better, smarter than your competitors, would be to say, would you be interested to know that based on our experience, over 80% of transmission problems can actually be solved with a repair instead of needing to be rebuilt? So finding ways to work your knowledge into the questions that you're asking to get the information that you need to get them to start telling you more of a story about what's going on to help them make those really good decisions. Bad service interaction is only outweighed by price 30% of the time. It's not a very big number that price takes over. So I think it's important that we are promoting a customer first culture in which employees are empathetic, they're quick to get to the root cause of problems, and they are empowered to use their judgment to deliver the best solutions. I think that last sentence is so important. Having employees who are empowered to use their judgment to deliver the best solutions. Have you ever been in that situation where you're having an issue and the person who's trying to help you is like, no, I got to go get my manager, or you're on the phone and you're getting transferred and then you're getting transferred again? And how amazing would it have been if that first point of contact was able to help you, if that employee had been empowered to take care of the customer and to handle the situation and do what needed to be done, so you didn't have to go through 2, 3, 4 people to get to a resolution? Because if you're having an issue, it's like you get more and more angry, right? Or more and more irritated each time you have to re-explain the situation to the next person. So when I talk about empowering employees, I call it the 3 T's. And that is trust, train, and think. So to empower employees, we really need to trust them to do their jobs, to trust them to do the job that they were hired to do, and then to also stand behind the decisions that they're making. If we have an employee take care of a situation and then we step in a few minutes after the customer leaves and say something like, oh, well, I would have done it this way, or I would have handled that differently, you're now taking away the confidence from that employee to take care of the next customer, because now they're thinking, oh, I did that wrong. I don't understand. Well, now I've lost my confidence and now I'm a little more apprehensive to be empowered to take care of the next situation that comes my way. And so that really comes in the training part of trust, train, think, is making sure that they do understand what is appropriate, what's not appropriate, and so that they are able to take care of the customer and know that we have their back and that we trust them to do what they're doing. And then think. We really need to make sure we are appreciating them after that situation's handled, to say, hey, I saw how you took care of that guest. You did a fantastic job. Thank you so much. Really appreciate how you handled that, because now they're feeling awesome and empowered and they're ready to take on the next situation, instead of maybe feeling defeated if they were told, hey, I would have done it this way, or I would have done it a little different. Another thing I'll touch on in empowering employees as well is, don't step, if your employee's handling a customer and you like step in or start interjecting and trying to take over the situation, that says to the employee, you don't trust me to do my job. Like, why did I even come into work today if you're just going to take over for me anyway? So kind of let go a little bit, make sure, and if we don't trust that employee to handle these situations, then we've maybe failed in the hiring process, or we just don't have the right person in that position. So it's really about having the right people who are trained in the right spot so we can trust them, and then we can thank them as well. See another chat. Asking those powerful questions is really good to help them feel like you have their best interest in mind. Oh, thank you so much. And it does cause them to admit that they actually have a problem, and easier to get a yes from them on the sale, which I completely agree. Thank you, Dylan, for adding that into the chat. It is really important to get that information from them, and that's a great way to go about it. So I like to sit back and think about, how are we feeling when we're interacting with the customer, when we're picking up the phone, when we're dealing with them face to face? Are we busy? Are we rushed? Are we stressed out? Are we tired? Or are we happy? Are we organized? Do we feel in control? Do we feel empowered? Are we feeling helpful? The bottom half of the list is definitely where we want to be as employees, because if we're feeling rushed and we answer the phone, that customer is going to feel it. They're going to be like, wow, they really did not have any time in the world to talk to me today. Like, they could care less about me. Or if we're organized and in control and feeling really helpful, that's where we start going those extra steps and giving that phenomenal customer service. A little trick I learned that I like to share about putting yourself in a good mood when you get to work. So I don't laugh, but I took a laughter yoga class, which oddly enough has nothing to do with yoga. It was like a half an hour of sitting in a room and doing all different laughing exercises with people. And it felt super awkward at first, but like, you leave just feeling amazing, like in such a good mood. And something that has stayed with me from that class I took years ago was that if you have a bit of a commute to work, pick a color. Pick the color green. Every time you see a green car on your drive, you just laugh out loud. You're going to feel really silly. Trust me. Like, if you're just in your car and you're like laughing out loud to nobody, you're going to feel really silly. But as you start doing it more, by the time you get to work and you've been laughing on and off for the past 15 to 20 minutes, you come in with, you're creating endorphins and you're feeling really good and you're in a good mood. Laughter puts people in a good mood. So if you're having a stressed out day or a hard day at home before you even leave for work, do something before coming in that's going to switch that attitude and put you in that happy, in control, empowered, motivated kind of mood. So if that helps, take it. If you think I'm crazy, ignore it. It's totally fine. But I've definitely used it, and it has helped turn my day around, just being able to laugh at stuff. Oh, and then also contributing. You want to have feel like we're able to contribute to the business. It's also good to think about, how is our customer feeling on the flip side of this? Are they stressed? Are they confused, upset, anxious, rushed, overwhelmed, tired, annoyed, scared? Having your car not work can be really scary. It can create a lot of anxiety. You can be very confused. It worked yesterday and now it's not working today. Or why are these lights on? Or how much money is this going to cost me? And, you'd be super stressed about it and super overwhelmed because now you don't have a way to get to work or to get your kids to school and all of those things that they're going through. Keeping that in mind really helps us be able to let them know, we understand. If this was happening to me, I'd feel the same way. Don't worry, we're going to take care of you. We've got this. So just kind of to keep that in mind, that when we see our guests, they're not always on their best mood and their best behavior, right? It can be really scary when something in your car fails, especially if you don't have a second car in the family and it's your only source of getting anybody anywhere. So keeping those things in mind and being able to really help the customer feel taken care of and take away a little bit of that stress, educate them and take away a little bit of that confusion, explain what's going on, let them know that we've got it and we're going to make sure that there's a resolution at the end of the situation. Make it a little less scary, right? Those are all things that we can do to help our customers have a great experience. So the customer is looking for help, empathy, and understanding, right? So that empathy, If this was happening to me, I would feel the same way. I totally understand. Digestible explanations. So don't give them super technical information. Make it easy for them to digest, to understand what's happening. Plans and solutions so they understand the next steps and what's going to happen and how it's going to go. They're looking for answers to their problems. And they're looking for professional and personalized service. So that personalized service is just really getting to know them and understand them and letting them know that, we care about who they are and we care about what's important to them. And we're going to do what we can to create the best service experience possible for them. Customers are looking for that above and beyond treatment. Roll out the red carpet, and that could be as simple as having coffee and donuts in your waiting room, or making sure that their car is clean when they pick it up. Just that above and beyond, something that maybe they weren't expecting, that they're just like, wow, that was really cool. Or an offer to give them a ride to the mall so they can shop while their car's being worked on. Something that maybe they hadn't been offered ever before. And they're also looking for a trustworthy business. They want to know that they made a good decision in doing business with you and that they trust you. Customers are looking to have an experience that they can share with their friends and family and be like, I found the place. You guys need to go check out this place. It's amazing. You're not going to want to go anywhere else. And actually recently had two friends reach out to me who live in different cities, but they were both going to different repair shops for the first time. And I had heard something about one of them that I recommended to my friend. And so she reached out to me to let me know how it went. And she was like, hey, this shop was awesome. Like, she's sending me pictures of her with the shop dog, and she's talking about how great the service was and how awesome it was. And she's like, you absolutely need to check them out. And I was like, okay, cool. And my other friend who lives a couple hours away was messaging me, and he's like, I just went to this shop and they're going to charge me this much money just to look at my vehicle. And it wasn't even a lot. It was like $75 or something. Cause I remember being like, that's it. That's it. And what that shop failed to do is explain the value of that $75, that it's not just to look at it, right? All the things that we do in that inspection and why it's important, and creating the value of that so that when he left, he understood what he was paying for, because to him, $75 just to look at my car doesn't make sense. And so once I got off the phone with him and kind of explained it, he was feeling a lot better about it, but that shop failed to do that for him. The customer always also wants ease of access to service. So the easier it is, the more likely I am to do it. It's like virtual doctor's appointments now are so easy. So I'm actually doing them as often as I should, because it's not so scary anymore. I don't have to call and make an appointment. I don't have to leave my house. So the easier it is for me to make my appointments, to bring my vehicle in for service, the more often I'm going to do the recommended maintenance on my vehicle. The customer wants speedy responses. So, if I send a thing to book an appointment online and I don't hear back for 3 days, probably going to move on to somebody else. So I typically say within the same day if possible to get responses back to people. They want efficiency in resolving the issue. They want effectiveness of the resolution. They want to know that when they leave, the issue has been taken care of, and that they're safe and they're comfortable to drive their vehicle again, and that they trust you, and that they're not going to have to worry about it. And they want friendly interaction. They want personality. They want personable experiences. Sorry, I just saw there's a couple of chats I'm going to try to catch up on. Making sure to talk to the customer rather than talking either over or down to the customer. Absolutely. Understanding how much technical information your customer can digest without making them feel uncomfortable and pushed into a decision. For sure. If I'm in a situation and somebody's talking technical to me, I'm not going to let you know that I don't understand what you're saying. I'm going to nod and smile and be like, okay. And then when I leave and my husband's like, hey, what did they say was wrong with it? I'm going to be like, I have no idea. Which is why I do highly recommend emailing information, because then I can be like, oh, here, just read this. And I don't have to retain all of the things that I'm being told. Awesome. The customer also wants post-service feedback and follow-up. And this is something that should happen not too long after they've been in. Like if we're waiting 6 months and we're like, we haven't seen that person in a while, let's reach out and follow up with them. if they didn't come back because of a bad experience, they've probably already found somewhere else. And we actually had a client recently call a few days after service was done and follow up with somebody to see how the experience was. And the customer was like, I wasn't going to say anything, but since you asked, and went on to talk about this issue that our client was able to resolve. But had they not done that, they probably would have lost that customer. So I think that the post-service feedback and follow-up is really important as well. When it comes to service, companies create loyal customers primarily by helping them solve their problems quickly and easily, right? We want it to be quick, easy, efficient. Customers also want the ability to book online. So we talked about that a little bit already. Respond to their preferred method of communication. So if you're going to ask me, do you want me to respond to you text, email, phone call, and I say text, and then I get a phone call an hour later, that is so irritating to me. It's like, why did you even ask? So if I'm asking that you text me, send a text message. And I do understand that there are some situations where you really need to get the person on the phone and the conversation can't happen through text. In that case, if they're saying, please text me, text them and say, hey, I'd love to have a conversation with you about what's going on with your vehicle. When is a good time for me to call you? Because at least then they know at 1 p.m. you're going to call and I'm in the mindset to talk to you about my vehicle now. I'm not answering my phone out of the blue and unprepared to have the conversation. I'm not in the middle of doing 3 other things. I can make sure that I have, time set aside when we plan to have that conversation. Customers want a clean and inviting atmosphere. So that the way your shop looks, the aesthetics, that's all part of the customer service experience. Is your waiting room clean and inviting? The bathrooms, are your bathrooms clean? Do they look nice? Or do I walk in there feeling like I don't want to touch anything? Is it just a welcoming environment, somewhere that I'd feel comfortable bringing children to if I needed to wait with them to have my vehicle worked on? That's all part of that customer service experience as well. Is it clean? Is it inviting? Do I feel comfortable there? And customers also want transparency. So we don't want to be lied to. We want an honest answer. We want transparency. We want to know what's actually happening. And make it easy. Remove the obstacles. So don't make them wait on the phone on hold for a long amount of time, because what feels like 5 seconds to you on the other end of the line feels like 5 minutes. So if we need to, schedule a call back, but don't make them wait on hold for a long time. Don't make them repeat information. I absolutely hate when I call somewhere and I'm like, hey, my name's Sara Fraser. I'm calling about blah, 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 blah. And then they go, okay, what was your name? I'm like, I just told you that. Were you not even listening to the whole thing I just explained to you when I called in? So make sure we're listening and taking notes so that we don't have to ask them to repeat information. If you, and I highly recommend taking notes, especially if you're in a situation with an upset customer or difficult customer. And you can even let them know, like, hey, I want to make sure that I'm getting all of the details of the situation. So I'm going to take notes as you're talking, if you don't mind. Then they don't feel like you're distracted and writing something that's not pertaining to the situation. So letting them know that you really care about getting the accurate information and that's why you're taking notes. Don't have to reach to you multiple times, right? Set that expectation that, hey, we're going to give you a call by 4 o'clock on Tuesday to let you know what's going on. And then when you set that expectation, make sure you actually stand behind it. Because if by 4 o'clock on Tuesday they haven't heard from you, now they're starting to lose a little bit of trust because you didn't do what you said you were going to do. But set those expectation times so that your customers aren't calling you all the time, like, hey, just checking in, what's going on? Do we know anything yet? Let them know when you're going to reach out to them. Don't make the booking service or the website, non-user friendly or hard to use. Make sure that that's all super easy for them, and don't use terminology that they don't understand. So can't and won't don't work here. These are things that we refer to as red flag words. And when we say red flag, we think of like the matador and the bull, and you're using that red flag to keep agitating and irritating that bull. We don't want to agitate and irritate our customers. So these are words that we suggest avoiding in situations, when talking to customers. And those are can't, won't. Never tell your guests what you can't and won't do. They only want to know what you can and what you will do. You have to. They don't want to know what they have to do. They came here for help. They came here for you to help them with something. Policy. If your customer really doesn't care what your policy is, Your policy is internal, not external. Your policy is for your employees. It's for how you run your business. Your customer really doesn't care about what your policy is. Yes, but once you add but after that yes, it's no longer a yes. This is what my dad refers to as the yeah buts. So don't use the yeah buts or the yes buts with your customers because you just canceled out the yes. And then I told you. How does that make you feel when you hear somebody say, I told you? To me, that's like, I feel like a little kid getting scolded by my parent, and I don't want to feel that way when I'm having a customer service experience. So we want to tell them what we can and what we will do. So here are some examples of how to turn those won'ts and don'ts and can'ts into cans and wills. So instead of we don't have that part in stock, you know what? We'll have stock availability for that part in about 2 weeks. Can I book your appointment for then? I can't get you in this Friday. Instead, my next available appointment is Monday at 2 p.m. Can we go ahead and schedule that? We won't know what the issue is until our technician looks at it. Instead, we could say, once our technician is able to perform an inspection on it, we can pinpoint the issue and come up with a plan to resolve it. So here are a couple good examples of just removing the can'ts, the won'ts, the don'ts, and replacing them with the cans and the wills. I did forget to mention this earlier. If you guys want any of these slides, any of this content, I'm more than happy to share it with you. So at the end of this, I'll have my email up. You can send me an email and I'm more than happy to share these slides with you. So what else can we do to really have a phenomenal customer service experience? Make them feel important. When you're dealing with the customer, make them feel like they're the only person that matters in that moment and that getting their situation taken care of is the most important thing to you at that time. Compliment them. When I bring the vehicle in and somebody says to me like, oh, wow, you've done a really good job maintaining this vehicle. That's fantastic. I'm like, oh, I did? Wow. Okay, cool. Like that's my, we talk about millennials being trophy kids and getting the gold star every day. Like that's my gold star. You just told me I did a good job on taking care of my car. Like that's amazing. So compliment them.